H. Don King,
Daphne Johnson,
Kendall Alexander Richardson,
Donna Dossett Major,
Angelino Cooper,
Taisha Triumph Clare,
Chad Rutherford,
Ron Rogers,
Anne-Marie Clinton Rowe,
Great Honorable Priest Rickman McKinney,
Rashay Sands,
Mr. Avon Emmanuel,
Charlotte Green,
Jason Gibson,
Cara Ellis,
The Rep Prince.
I'm Lincoln Bain, and I'm the leader of the Coalition of Independence. We are a group of Bahamians who have come together to be the change this country needs to see.
Change is here.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome. It is a pleasure to be here with you again. And here I am, fresh off the campaign trail. We are ready to get this done tonight. Just catching myself, just came in straight off the campaign trail. I just want to thank all of those people in Pinewood Gardens who are letting us in their homes, and welcoming us and telling us that they are ready for change. I just want to thank all of you for the encouragement. I want to thank you. Many of you are going through right now. Many of you are hurting. Many people are suffering. What Bahamians are going through is unimaginable. No Bahamian should have to go through this. But this is as a result of failed leadership. As I've told you before, the Bahamas has become a failed state. The Bahamas, our Bahamas, has become a failed state. Our Bahamas has become a country where we are telling our children to leave and never come home. I want you to understand the seriousness of that. It has been happening like the way they say you boil a frog, that you just increase the water gradually until he doesn't know that he is boiling. That's what's been happening to us. All around us, our country is failing. All around us, everything is getting more and more expensive. Everything is becoming more and more dysfunctional. And it's happening all around us. We're not noticing. We're getting to the point of other nations. We know about other nations that had people that like to migrate, go to other countries to live. We always loved the Bahamas, so much so that we couldn't stay away too long. We had to hurry up, come back and get our conch salad and conch fritters. But now we are telling our children to go away, get your education, and never come home. It's like the slaves on the plantation, the slave mothers telling our children to, you run to the back of the yard. When master turns off that light, you run to the back of the yard and you just run and head north and keep heading north. And you just follow the river that is running north. And you cross over that border. You get to New York, or you cross over the border and get to Canada, and you never come back. You hear? It's like we are telling our children to escape from the plantation, where we are being treated like nothing, where we are being treated like second-class citizens, where everyone has an advantage in this country except for us. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to wake up. Bahamas, we must wake up. My fellow Bahamians, we must wake up. We have reached the point of no return. Not only are we telling our children to leave this country and never come back, many Bahamians, many of us adults, are leaving this country and saying that we're not coming back. How many Bahamians right now are talking about going to Canada? How many Bahamians right now do you know that are saying that they're going to Canada? Do you know what that means? We have failed our young people. We have failed as a country. We do not have a country for our children to grow up in. This is devastating. Wake up, Bahamas. Wake up. Tonight, we're going to talk to two very interesting and overqualified young men. I've had so many candidates that have come to us, and we are the only so-called alternative party, or they like to call them third parties. I don't know how many threes you can have. It only could be one third party. But we are the only so-called third party that has more than 30 candidates. We have put forward 35 candidates. And I want to apologize to Eleuthera. We ratified 2 candidates for Eleuthera, but I want you to understand that this politics is a serious game. And so several of our persons were hindered in traveling. One of them was already in Eleuthera. He did not get his paperwork right in time. So we apologize to you, Eleuthera. We do love you, and we're going to bring this change. We just need to take the government. All right, we're going to take this government, and we're going to show you what we can do for Eleuthera. All right, and so also Exuma. We apologize to you, Exuma. We did not get to ratify a candidate for Exuma, and also Long Island. All right, candidates had to pass our rigorous standards. Our standards, although we got a lot of qualified candidates, I'm talking about, master's degrees, persons who were told they were overqualified. Overqualified Bahamians have come back home to change this country. That wasn't really the criteria. The criteria was more so that we're going to have people who are not going to sell out. There are persons who are willing and ready to sell out to the highest bidder. And I assure you that the easiest way to make money in this country right now is not tourism, is not drugs, it's not even selling numbers. The easiest and quickest way to make money right now is to do anything against the Coalition of Independence and Lincoln Beard. Form another party. Go out there and say some stuff about them. Go out there and spread lies. That's the easiest way to make money in this country. So while we're in this election season, listen, I'm not going to criticize you, go make some money. But at the same time, remember that we cannot sell out our country. We cannot. We cannot. We need all of you to be strong. To be strong and to stand up for the new Bahamas. And so we have put forward 35 candidates. There are other organizations that came forward. They put in their lower 20s, 21, 22 candidates. But in terms of those with 30 plus candidates, it's the FNM, the corrupt FNM, the corrupt PLP, and the party of change, real change. And so that's what it is. I met an elderly lady today. She came all the way down here from where her constituency is in St. Anne's just to tell me that, she said, Lincoln, I'm tired of throwing away my vote. I'm tired of throwing away my vote. I'm tired. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I'm tired. I can't throw away my vote anymore, she said. I said, what do you mean throw away your vote? She said, every time you vote for the PLP and FNM, that's throwing away your vote. She said, I've tried back and forth. And that was throwing away my vote, because she said, after 6 o'clock on election, they don't need you no more. Phone change, they're gone. I'm tired of throwing away my vote, she said, to the PLP and FNM. They're the same. I said, Mom, I know personally that they're the same. I know personally. How do I know that they're the same? I had a chance for a very short period to work for protecting Hubert Alexander Ingram. I think it was 1997. I had a chance to work for Hubert Alexander Ingram. And what I saw blew my mind. I saw where these guys will be fighting and arguing in the House of Assembly in public. And then later, they are best of friends. They buddy on the phone, spending hours on the phone together. They godfather to each other's children. They're business partners. And we thought somehow that we were voting different. And I meet so many people who say, you know, I'm just tired. You vote and they say change and nothing changes. And I have to tell them it's because they're the same. I saw it with my own eyes. All these years they were fighting, making you think that it was different. But look who showed up last week at Parliament with Philip Brave Davis on Ruston Square, Parliament Square. Christie and Ingram. Remember the law firm? Christie, Ingram, Davis, and Co. Do you remember? You see, in 2002, it was like Ingram started doing everything to make the public mad, to make the public angry. And it wasn't making sense. Like, he's too smart for this. Why is he doing this? And it was like he was intentionally pushing the people over to the PLP. And then in 2007, it's like Perry Christie just started doing a bunch of crazy stuff. In the end, just a bunch of, it's like, what are they doing? What is he doing? And it's like he was trying to push it back over to the FNM. I want you all to think hard. And Leslie Mann was here at our headquarters and reminded me of that the other day. Think hard. He said he noticed it. Like every time they started doing crazy things, as like to intentionally get you to vote against him and go to the other direction. And in 2012, the same thing. It's like They just pushed it in the other direction. And they keep swinging it back and forth, back and forth, every single year. And what they would do is cancel out the third parties to make sure that you were voting for them. Wake up, Bahamas. Wake up. Deals have already been made. Deals have already been made for Minis and the FNM to throw this election over to the PLP. Open your eyes. The things that are happening, the things that they're doing, open your eyes. They're trying to keep it within the status quo because they believe if we keep swinging it this way and this way, we can keep swinging the people. Wake up. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I got two amazing young men, overqualified young men to introduce you all to tonight. Two amazing qualified young men to introduce you all to tonight. My Lord. And I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to introduce you to them. Some people say, well, I don't know who some of these candidates are. Of course, because they weren't around stealing from the Bahamian public while in government for the last 50 years. They are the new generation. They are the Joshua generation. They are the generation that's going to take us forth into the next Bahamas, because we are leaving that old one behind. So I just want to say this before I go, that this election is going to be helter-skelter. It seems like the government is intentionally trying to make this election not work properly. They've not, it's like they're intentionally trying to confuse people. There are people who are displaced, like Abaconians. Laws and provisions should have been put in place for them to be able to vote, and their vote go to Abaco even though they're living in the Bahamas. It's very easy to do. It was done before. I spoke to the parliamentary department and they said they don't know why the government isn't doing it. It's been done before. And so the government is just disgraceful. And so it seems like they're doing a lot of things to stress out this election process. So, for example, they're going to have a advanced poll situation, advanced voting. And this time they're inviting more people to vote in advanced poll, like elderly and other persons that normally wouldn't vote. But here's the problem. It's a major problem. Last time, they're saying that this time is going to be 40,000 people. Last time we didn't have, we had about 10% of that, or not about 10% of that, and it was helter-skelter out there. It was crazy at Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium where it was held. I mean, you couldn't even get in there. It was helter-skelter all day. And that was under normal times. Now we're talking about COVID and long lines, spaced 6 feet apart. Last election, people were shoulder to shoulder trying to get in there. It was crazy. Many people still did not get to vote at the advanced polls. Many people didn't. And they had to vote at the regular election because it was just that crazy. It is mathematically impossible to serve 40,000 people in a 9-hour period. 9 to 6. I don't understand how that is going to work. But maybe someone could make that make sense to me. But if you can, they're going to have to serve 4,444.44 persons an hour in order to make that work in a 9-hour period. 4,444 persons an hour in order to make that work. In order to make that work, that is 74 persons a minute. can you vote in a minute? That means the time that they're serving you, when you walk in the door, you give them your name, they check it, you call your name, you give them your document, your voter's card, sorry. You give them your voter's card. They check it. All of the persons who are monitors are able to check through this, look through it. They give you your foil, your ballot, etc. You go in there, you sit down, you think, and you say, oh, coalition. You vote, and you think, but don't think long, all right? And then you fold it up, you put it in the ballot box in front of everybody, and then you dip your finger. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have to serve 74 people a minute. These leaders y'all put in charge, you know. They're going to have to serve 1.2 people every second to serve 40,000 people in one location. Now, I don't know about you, but we need to do governance because these leaders just don't seem to have any vision or common sense. So if you plan on serving 40,000 people in one place, when you couldn't serve 4,000 people in one place last election, good luck. How are you going to serve all these people on election day in COVID restrictions? And so what we were recommended to the commissioner when he met with us was that he should tell the parliamentary commissioner that we should allow all the polls to be open on that day and have advanced voting at all the polls, not to spread it out. Isn't that common sense? You see, they always talk about who is qualified, who isn't qualified, who has experience, who doesn't have experience, but some things is just common sense. These guys with all these sharp coat suits on, and all these so-called degrees, and all this experience in the House of Assembly, all this experience you have, and the voter's card still getting written on paper and crossed out. The voter's card still looks like we live in the 1950s. All this experience. We need something new, man. We need something new. And so that is a helter-skelter. The commissioner said, oh, yeah, that is true. I'm going to have to ask the commissioner to meet with y'all so that y'all can tell him what your concerns are. We have not yet heard from this so-called, from the parliamentary commissioners. And so we don't know exactly what is going to happen with that. But we know, I'm telling you, that the election is going to be helter-skelter. If you want to work the polls and vote early, please let us know. Get in contact with the candidate for your area, or you can come to our office in Pinewood, and they will put you down on the list of your area, get you in contact with your candidate so that you can vote early. All right? I'm advising you to vote early. Get this out of the way fast. Get it out of the way, and get it out of the way fast. I want to show you something. It's very interesting and entertaining. All right? You see, I'm someone who could track my lineage. I could track my lineage to as far back as possible. I want to show you something interesting. And this is, if y'all don't realize that we need change after this, then it's because y'all ain't saved. All right? And we need y'all to get saved. I'm going to show you all something right now. We didn't have time to upload it into the software so that y'all could just see it on the screen. All right. I'm trying to find this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you two pictures. Let's see, it's the best way. Okay. This right here, this is my grandmother. It's my grandmother. All right. It's my grandmother. That's a voter's card. That's a voter card. The only difference between the voter's card here, this is probably in the 50s. The only difference between this voter's card here and my voter's card is the color. All right, this was our voter's card sometime after that, right? Right? This is disgraceful. These the people y'all are talking about experience. This is what you get with experience. Sorry. This is another voter's card she had. They're probably still in the 50s or 60s. Look. Huh? The only difference between this card and my card. You see? My Lord. What is it? 1936 or 76? Well, it looked like 19, yeah, this look like she got this card in 1976. That's the date I see on there. That's the year I born. And the card is still the same, Bahamas. It's like we're stuck in a time warp. Anyway, let's continue. I just need y'all to wake up. And so we're going to talk about some stuff tonight. We got two interesting people for y'all to talk to. The system to vote, to apply to be a part of the advance poll is shut down. It's overloaded, they said. I applied, other persons applied to try to get the vote in advance poll because you have until the 4th of September to apply to vote in advance poll, but the system is stuck. Nothing works in this country. It's a failed state. Wake up. And so you have to do it manually if you want to make sure you get in time. The stacks of paper that you should see of the forms that people, the actual manual form that you fill out, I don't know how they're going to go through all those forms in the next few days. But that's the old Bahamas, and the old Bahamas is about to pass away, and something new is about to come about. And so that was just a few minutes reminiscing about the old Bahamas that we're about to end, and it's time for something new. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to introduce some fellas to you. You always talk about, you know, who are your candidates, who are these people, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to introduce you to two amazing young men. We're going to talk tonight a little bit about, and we're going to have a question and answer afterwards. But I'm going to talk to you tonight a little bit about sports. What is our plans for sports? We can't go into full detail like normally when we present our plans. You know, we're rushing through this. Election is right there. And so we're just going to touch on some of this. But what do we want to do for sports? And who are the qualified people we have for sports? First and foremost, I want to say this to you, that we're going to have a separate ministry of sports. Sports is not going to be shared with anything else. We are going to invest heavily in sports because sports is going to have some serious return on investments. It's going to be a focus for the Bahamas. We believe that no advertising is as good as putting your logo on the jersey of an athlete. Nike can tell you that. Gatorade can tell you that. Puma can tell you that. And so to have athletes out there with Bahamas across their chest, it is priceless. We are going to invest heavily in that. It is priceless. And so I have some qualified gentlemen here who are our shadow ministers of sports. Both are extremely successful sports professionals. And so they are going to let us know exactly what it is we're going to be doing. Someone says football in high school. Stay tuned. You're going to hear it in a minute. All right. And so the first one I'm going to introduce you to is right here in studio with me. So you can come and take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to move over a little bit so that he could get in there. We're just going to move over a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, sports is life in the Bahamas. It's life for our young men, it's life for our children. It keeps them from illegal activities. It keeps them from going out with guns and killing each other. I know activities like this saved me. Someone said this means Lincoln 45. Lincoln being is 44. So on the day that we win the election in September 16th, I am going to still be 44. I'm going to be 45 later this year, but I'm going to still be 44. All right, so I'm 44 years old, baby. All right, 44 years old. It's time for change. It's time for new young people. So we can go with the 70-year-old men, or we can go with actual change. All right, 44 years old and proud. All right, so that's my age. Ladies and gentlemen, the man sitting next to me is one of our shadow ministers of sports, and his name is Mr. Ron Rogers. He is known throughout the Bahamas for sports. He is very accomplished. He has competed in multiple disciplines in sports. I'm going to let him tell you all these disciplines right now. He's competed all around the world, but that's his accomplishment, but not his legacy. His legacy is the amount of young people that he has trained, the international people that come to the Bahamas to train with him. That is his legacy. And so he is known locally and internationally for sports, for training, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm going to talk to him in a minute, but first I want to introduce our other shadow minister of sports. He is a track athlete. If you search him, you'll see that he was very accomplished in track, along with his other accolades. I'm just talking about their sports stuff right now because these guys have specialties in other areas, you know, where sports is I mean, that's just the icing on the cake, their sports accomplishments. But the next one I'm going to introduce you, he's all the way in Grand Bahama. And so, yes, we're going to have cabinet ministers from Grand Bahama. He's all the way in Grand Bahama. And he is also a shadow minister of sports. And this young man was a track track athlete. He knows all the track and field competitors, athletes. And so he is someone that I'm also very proud of. And someone says, yeah, coach. I guess they're talking about you, right? And he is Mr. Stephen Hall. Welcome, Stephen Hall. So Stephen Hall is the other person. He is broadcasting with us via satellite. And he is in Grand Bahama, and he is in West End, and Bimini, the constituency where Obi Wilscombe lost last time, and Keisha Park is going to lose this time because they have no vision. And so these are both athletes and accomplished athletes that decided that they want to take part in government and try to make a change for the young people. I'll start with you, and then afterwards, stay tuned. We're gonna have question and answer, and then we're gonna deal with some other interesting stuff at that point. All right. So you're all missed it. Mr. Ron Rogers. Almost everywhere I go, I run into a young man who says that you were their coach. There's no way on this earth that you were able to train this many young men. Even today, I experienced a young man saying, yeah, I voted for you all. Ron Rogers was my coach.
That's correct. I started back in 1992.
Coaching or as an athlete?
Coaching. As an athlete, I started when I was 8 years old. But coaching, I started in 1992. I started coaching kids.
So what did you do as an athlete?
As an athlete, every sport. Captain of the soccer team, captain of the football team, track team, captain of the baseball team, softball team.
Soccer and football?
Soccer, football.
They don't go together.
No, I had a problem. I was addicted to sports. So whatever season was in, I couldn't sit on the bleacher and watch, so I participated.
What constituency are you in?
Southern Shores.
Southern Shores.
Southern Shores.
He's running for Southern Shores, ladies and gentlemen. And he is the man that I recommend down there. So you did soccer, football, what else?
Track and field.
Track.
Yep. Volleyball.
I would know what you was good at.
Oh, well, I turned pro in football, boxing, and track and field.
You played professional.
Professional.
Football. What else?
Boxing. And track and field. Yes, sir.
Pro. Come on, man.
Yes.
Now I remember when they had this fella called Bo. They used to say Bo knows, right?
Yes.
Because he could play football and baseball.
Correct.
And that was like so amazing that he could do two disciplines.
Mhm.
And you went pro in more than two disciplines.
Yes.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah. Like I said, I was addicted to sports. Those are the ones that I excelled in school. And, you know, scouts would come knocking. Talent scouts came knocking. So I couldn't pass it up.
Wow. All right, we'll get to some more of that in a minute. Stephen Hall is another young man that I believe in. And he has a lot of potential. Stephen, what was your sport discipline?
Hey, Lincoln, how's everyone doing? My sports discipline is track and field. I played a little bit of basketball. I wasn't as good as it in it as I should be. I played a little bit of football. I was only as good in football because I was quick. But I love track and field. I was a 100-meter runner and a 200-meter runner.
Ran internationally.
Yes, I ran all over the United States.
Wow, that's awesome. And so we are presenting to the Bahamian people two young men that are experienced in sports, not just someone who they just put there and say, you know, go and use sports and culture, and of course, you know, do whatever you think you can do. So you guys have experience as athletes, so you know how the athletes think, what they feel, what needs to happen, right?
That's right.
Good. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate you deciding to stand up for country and do this. The Bahamian people want to know if we are qualified persons. So far, we have shown them qualified persons in every single area that we have been doing. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about agriculture. More qualified persons in agriculture. After that, we're going to be talking about our youth. Listen, we're going to be talking about our health. Are you ready for change? I had a chance to look through what the PLP put out to say is their plan, because they're really going with no plan. I was extremely disappointed. That 6 minutes I can never get back. Reading this bullet points nonsense. Now, we need to know just a summary, because we can't tell them the details of what we're going to do in a short period of time. Election is coming up. I need them to know some of what we plan. We've been meeting with professionals, not just them, but we've been meeting with persons who have interest in this area, having conversations around the Bahamas. Now, we're going to talk to you for a minute, give us about half hour. We're going to talk to you about what we want to do with sports in this country and how we're going to transform this and how we're going to turn this into a business for all of you to benefit. Now, I want you to understand and see that we're talking about how all of the things we're doing is going to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. We haven't touched the natural resources yet. The money that they think that we're saying, oh, we're going to sell stand and make this money. All of the plans we presented to you is going to put money into the Sovereign Wealth Fund. But we ain't touched the natural resources yet. I want you all to see Vision Bahamas. Vision. And so here we go. All right. And so you guys take it over. What are we going to do in sports?
All right. First of all, I'd like to set the groundwork. We talk a lot about natural resources, but our most valuable natural resource is the Bahamian people. All through school, high school, college, university, Bahamians, even though they had a late start in the sport or in that particular athletics, they dominated. The natural God-given talent that we have here in the country is in abundance, like I've never seen, and I've traveled the world. But we want to invest heavily in that most valuable natural resource, which is the Bahamian people, the youth. All right, sports is just another word of saying entertainment. Sports is entertainment. Whether you're a fan, whether you're a player, participant, or whether you just do it for fitness, it's entertainment. And this entertainment makes, just in the United States, $2.2 trillion annually. $2.2 trillion annually just in America. Not the UK, not Asia, not South America, not Canada, just in the United States of America alone, $83 billion of that comes out of sports, whether it's track, football, basketball, you name it. $83 billion of that comes out of sports. Here in the Bahamas, we don't take it seriously. We have all this talent, but there's no one guiding. There's no one building it. There's no one culturing it. So therefore, it goes by the wayside. It falls by the wayside. In America, they have talent scouts that go around to different schools, starting from pretty much primary school to high school. And they're scouting out, looking out for the best athletes in whatever discipline that they qualify in, whether it be basketball, football, track and field, whatever. And then they approach these kids, sit down with them, speak with them, get their parents involved, and they start to nurture those kids from there. Here in the Bahamas, we have all this talent on the playgrounds. You all seen it when you go play, whether you're playing baseball or basketball or whatnot. You know who's the best. You know who's the most talented and whatnot. But these kids are not nurtured. They're not guided. They're not picked out or sorted out. So therefore, they fall by the wayside. And if they cannot hustle up their monies or the support in order to further their discipline or further their productivity in that discipline, their progress in that discipline, then they fall off. Hotel job, government job, ends it. That's it. We're going to invest heavily in athletics, in sporting programs here in the Bahamas. We're also going to cut out the corruption of it as well. Too many times I've been fighting from 1992, where the funding or budget for the sporting discipline goes directly to an account that only the president of the federation or commission can access, which leads to temptation of corruption. And then the funding doesn't get to where it was intended, which is to the youth. All right? We want to cut that out. Anything that can lead to temptation of corruption, we want to eliminate. We want the funding set forth by Ministry of Sports to a federation or to a commission to get to the youth, to the athletes. Also, we want to develop our parks, government schools. There's no way why our kids are fighting for space on one 400-meter official 400-meter track at the sports center. Every government school that has the space or the ground space and the amount of students should have an official 400-meter track. Track is one of our #1 disciplines here, but yet we only have one track, one official track. Our public parks, they're nothing but grass fields. Each of our public parks, they should have 400-meter tracks, 4-lane 400-meter tracks in them. Government space, Arm Bailey Park. And an infield should be set for other disciplines: soccer, football, tennis, basketball. Also, we want programs put in these parks. It doesn't matter how pretty or how elegant you make a park look. If there's not programs placed in that park, in other words, someone teaching the kids a certain discipline or teaching them morals and ethics, the park is going to remain empty. We want to put programs in those parks. Daily programs, scheduled daily programs. That way our youth, when they come to the park, they leave with more knowledge. They leave with experience. They leave with betterment. They want to be better when they leave. We don't want to be a situation where the kid comes to the park, swings on the swing 2-3 days, and never comes back to the park again. That's why when you drive around now, no matter how pretty the park is, it's empty. It's empty. Our youth have idle hands somewhere, or they're at home on the computers or in front of a television. Nothing, their physical health, their mental health, nothing's being improved upon. But at COI intends to change this. Stefan, you still there?
Go ahead, Stefan.
So I can't even hear you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say it again here.
Having a break in transmission. Stefan, go ahead. I'm not sure if we've lost Stefan. All right, so for our producers, you can try to get them back up. We're broadcasting live from Facebook on my page, that's Lincoln Bain, from the Coalition of Independence page. So you're going to see some persons on my page, and so you'll see other different numbers on the Coalition page. And we're also broadcasting live on the YouTube page of Bahamian Evolution. So these are the different areas where we're broadcasting live right now. So when we're doing these kind of lives, you're going to see the numbers shared between all of these different pages. So Stefan, I think you were up next. And,
Yes, sir.
all right, go ahead.
Yeah, so my comrade, my colleague, laid the ground foundation with the statistics. I want to talk a little about our sports that we're going to be introducing to the public and the country. We're nationally surrounded. Our archipelago is just simply water. Water's all around us. So we want to focus heavily on swimming. We shouldn't be getting beat in swimming. We're surrounded by water. Diving, regular and springboard diving. Rowing. Can you hear me? I can't hear nothing. Can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're saying that we're going to dominate the water sports. That's what you're saying. So there's going to be focus on water sports because we're surrounded by water.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
We're going to dominate the water sports. All water sports, sailing, water polo. All right. We're going to do some real work, and then we're going to invest heavily in our water sport. Right. We have basic designs up already. I don't know if Lincoln shared it. Did you share it already? The designs that we have up for our aquarium. Awesome. So we have a pool with bleachers. We're going to have 350-meter pool inside this aquarium. We're also going to have an endless pool where the current is pushing against you and you're swimming to create the resistance, right? It gives you the potential to go faster. It's resistance training. We're going to have a hot tub for recovery, okay? A diving pool with bleachers. Right? We're in the age now where there's a lot of diving going on, and we want to invest heavily. Some persons may be attracted to diving, so we're going to really push into that arena. All right. Now we all know I'm a track athlete, so I love the sport. All right. It's we're prestigious with track and field, so therefore we see it fitting. All right. I'm going to tell you how prestigious we are. In 2000, something happened that was so amazing. The Golden Girls won gold in the 4x1 at Olympics, right? In 2007, something else happened amazing. Chris Brown won the indoor 400 meters, right, at the World Championship. In outdoor in 2007, Donald Thomas in Osaka won high jump, right? One of the first guys to ever win high jump in the Bahamas. Also, Derek Atkins won the silver medal in World Championship, right? Something else happened in 2016 that all of us could have remembered. The Golden Knights took the stage with Christopher Brown, Michael Matthew, Ramon Miller, and Demetrius Pinder. When they strike gold in the Olympics, they became the Golden Knights. They thought they never would have done it. After that, the legacy of track and field continued. Now we have the Twin Towers, Shawnee and Stephen Gardner, the top athletes in the country. So track and field is our richness, our legacy. So we're going to pump heavily in that. Going into that, we want to talk about more about our facilities that we want to do a track. We want to have an indoor track and field. The indoor track and field will consist of a 400-meter indoor track, a high jump pit, a triple jump pit that will be placed in the state-of-the-art facility for training convenience, because we have bad weather at times. We have bad weather. I know when I used to run track, I used to hate going in the rain, but we still used to go. But we have bad weather outside. You know, wind is always a factor when you're training. A lot of people hate training in the wind. We're going to have indoor facilities so you can avoid that. Okay. Other sporting capabilities and amenities. We're going to have a baseball diamond with bleachers. Right. In this indoor facility, we're going to have a tumbling floor for gymnastics with bleachers. This is going to be awesome. Also in that facility, we're going to have lockers, showers, ping pong. We're going to have something that I think the Bahamas really need, a recovery center. Right? The recovery center is going to have in it ice baths, sports medicine, active release, and wrapping stations with media room and computer stack progress room. So this facility is going to be state-of-the-art. It's going to be awesome. And I know all the track athletes know where I'm coming from when I said we need this, right? So I am so amazed when I look at the plans that we put together for the athletes. No athlete can say that they can resist this. We're going to have boxing. I met some guys when I used to train at GB Fitness. They love boxing, man. The guy is awesome. I looked at him and I said, one day you need to go to Olympics. And he trains really hard, but he just doesn't have the resources and the facilities to maintain himself. Okay. We're going to invest heavily in baseball in this facility, tennis. And we're going to obviously have a gym with tremendous capabilities of building your strength up. It's going to be awesome. State of the art. Everything is going to be state of the art. Okay. Incline treadmills so you can do resistance training. We're going to have all the hip flex machines that you guys need. You know, women like to work on hips. Guys need hips for sprinting. We're going to do all of that. We will also be bringing in necessary trainers, specialists to manage the youth and identify who has the potential to go further. They do something like that in Jamaica. They have grades. So grades are, Jamaica has a grade 1, a grade 2, a grade 3 level. So in primary school, the grade 1 don't really put as much pressure on them. They don't put as much pressure on the grade 1s as they put pressure on the grade 2. So they allow the athletes to develop at their own capabilities. So what that does is avoid injuries. A lot of us were plagued with injuries when we were doing the sport because we were putting so much pressure. We didn't have the knowledge or we didn't have the experts to tell us, listen, you need to back off. We need to do some recovery. Those are the things that we always lack. So we never really reach our apex, right? Our highest point. So what we're going to do is invest in these things. We're going to invest in them. We will be the greatest athletes on the world. It's 300 plus thousand persons in the Bahamas. We're going to be the best athletic nation in the world with these facilities globally. Mr. Ron, you want to tell us a little bit more about government invest sailing and recovery?
Yes, of course. Like Stephen said, we have too many times where athletes have to fend for themselves to try to achieve in this country at their discipline or at their God-given talent. All right, things like that we don't even look at sailing for number one. That's a tradition here in the Bahamas that has been going on now for years. But yet there's no having invested. The government does not invest into it. All right. You have youth. I remember as a kid, same thing. I went into those little sailing programs, and you did it for the summer or whatnot, whether you loved it or not. But there was no progress. There was no stepping, no step up from there. But yet, around the world, sailing is a major sport. Whether it be oceanic, whether it be in the Olympics, it's a major sport. And the Bahamas, being surrounded by water, we should be dominating in anything aquatic. I have a nephew, he plays water polo. They've been undefeated now in 2 Cariftas.
The Bahamas doesn't know that.
And the Bahamas, they have no idea about that. They say, oh, you know, swimming is a sport for the Americans or the Europeans because they built this way or they this way. No, it's not. We have extremely talented athletes right here now that can compete on the level of anyone around the world. They just don't have that motivation or that support behind them to continue doing it. Same thing with the mentality of the athletes. Too many times where we do not prepare them mentally for the world. You know, yes, they're good talent, they're good in their athletics, they're good in their sporting disciplines, but we don't mentally prepare them for all of the distractions and for all of the things that come with going out into the world that they're not going to experience here in the Bahamas. So teaching them things like stage presence, teaching them things like outside the ring or outside the field antics, teaching them everything from how their manners, their morals, teaching them how the world works. We call it street smarts. When our athletes go to these foreign countries, the amount of distractions and things that people throw at them, there's no way they can stay focused on what they were doing unless they were trained ahead of the time. Some athletes like myself and Stephon, we sort of lucked out, whether it be through proper parenting or through guidance of either former athletes that were over there and told us what to expect and how to maneuver once these things are placed ahead of us. People always say peer pressure. Those things, once an athlete is trained properly, they can excel and stay focused in their sport, and peer pressure would not touch them. Whether it be alcohol, drugs, partying, all these things that can take away from the athlete would be eliminated with proper training before they go off to a foreign country to learn, to either go to school or to proceed in professional athletics.
So I just wanna touch on a few things. Ladies and gentlemen, what he's talking about is extremely important. One of the reasons that this is important is because you have to deal with the whole athlete. Our athletes have not gotten that kind of training. One thing that we must add to their training is understanding finance and business. A lot of athletes go broke. They don't know how to maintain what it is that they're doing, and we have to make sure that we train our athletes properly.
Exactly.
But I want to put this in perspective for you now. So how this works is that most of our athletes have to leave this country to get good training. And so that's what all of these athletes have been experiencing. You get to high school, they tell you, well, you better go to a school in the States or Canada or something so you could get good training to really become yourself. I think that is a travesty, and that is a failure on the part of governments. Jamaican athletes train in Jamaica. You see their track and field athletes, they've trained, Hussein trained in Jamaica. Shelly Allen, she trained in Jamaica. So most of their athletes train in Jamaica. American athletes train in America. Canadian athletes train in Canada. Chinese athletes train in China. Russian athletes train in Russia. Bahamian athletes got to get on the plane and go to America or somewhere else to get training. And this is what we're about to change, because we are going to invest heavily in our athletes so that when anywhere around the world where sports is going on, with the biggest entertainment segment in the world, they're going to see the word Bahamas. They're going to hear the word Bahamas. They're going to hear from the Bahamas, or they're going to see it. And so it's going to keep our marketing in their ears at all times. And so this is what we plan to do. You heard some of it in our educational plan. We're going to identify their athletic abilities from a very young age with proper scouts that we're going to put in place from primary school. And they're going to scout these kids. They're going to let them compete with their natural ability. When they get to high school, they're going to be able to start training on a much heavier level. But in primary school, they're going to be using their natural abilities. And so this is the focus of what we're doing. So to recap, the water sports we're going to focus on. No one is going to beat the Bahamas in any water sports. We're going to invest in YMCA-like centers, 5 of them across New Providence and some of them on the Family Islands, because there's some talented persons in the Family Islands that haven't had a chance to really train. They're running on grass tracks or dirt tracks. This can't happen. And there's so much talent that we're losing because of that. We have to invest in this. And so we're going to build YMCA centers in the 5 districts or cities in Nassau. And as Ron said, that they are going to have, each of them are going to have tracks.
Yes.
All right. So there's going to be hard tracks and soft tracks. And so the soft tracks are for training so that they don't injure themselves before they get to the actual race. And so there's going to be soft tracks at 3 of them, and I think 2 of them are going to be hard tracks. 2 are going to be hard tracks, and 3 are soft tracks. And the hard tracks, they can actually have competitions at those areas, and they can hold people, because we're going to invest in sports, because we all Bahamians, we love sports. And so that's what we're going to do. You're going to see these plans coming forth for them. We've already started drawing these plans for these YMCA centers. We've already started planning them out to everything. We've planned what's going to be in them, the amount of showered spas, everything's going to be in these spas. This is the work that these guys have been doing, and others along with our architect, over the last several months, putting this together. You heard about the pools. It's going to be indoors and outdoor competition pools, the endless pools, 2 endless pools. And that's like a treadmill where you can run in place. Well, the endless pool is like a pool that sends current and you have to swim and you're really not moving. And so they're going to be able to have those to train. So they put a lot of planning into this. And so one thing that we've never done in this country that we should do is a water sport is diving. We're going to focus on Olympic diving. And so our facility is actually going to have Olympic diving platforms, okay? And so diving boards, the hard platforms, they are at different levels. So they're going to have all of these things in these facilities, all right? And so if the producer can put the picture up, you'll see it. We plan on having these kinds of facilities for diving, for swimming, and for everything else. And so this sports is going to be our life in the Bahamas. It's going to save our kids from the street. All right. And so we've already planned the gyms is going to be in these YMCA type centers, and all of the activities is going to go on with them. So it's going to be a serious investment. So my job is to tell you about the last thing that we want to touch on. So we have to summarize this. We can't put the whole plan in there, but there's a lot of stuff that we're planning on sports. But sports is going to be a money-making thing for the Bahamas. One of the things that we are going back into that we neglected for political reasons and that we destroyed is we're going back to what the Bahamas was once famously known for. No, it's not track and field. No, it's not sailing. It is horse racing. And so we have begun all of the plans to start to go into horse racing. You will know that in 1977, they closed what they call the Hobby Horse Racetrack. That was there. Horse racing took place in this country since 1782, and they closed it in 1977. Well, we are going to bring horse racing back to the Bahamas. This time, the center of horse racing is going to be located in Grand Bahama. All right, it's going to be located in Grand Bahama. There's a reason we're locating it in Grand Bahama. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to build a facility that is much like the Kentucky Churchill Downs Stadium. All right, but of course it's going to have a Bahamian flavor to it instead of just being like that. And so there's going to be it's going to facilitate professional horse racing. So a resort is going to be built for this purpose. Horse racing is a multi-billion-dollar industry, multi-billion-dollar industry. And so we are going to attempt to have our horse racing as a part of the circuit, all right, as a part of the circuit, the Triple Crown circuit. Well, we are going to attempt to be included in that, okay? We were known for horse racing in this country. So we're going to build a resort where there are stables in the resort. There's training tracks, and they're able to live right next to the owners. Owners don't want to be too far from their horses. Their horses are very valuable. And the trainers. And so everyone is going to be able to have their nice, luxurious stay that they pay for. And they, of course, will be able to have their horse in their stable and have their tracks, etc. And so we're also going to facilitate this. We have cruise ships that are going to have, well, the cruise ships that we're going to have, we're going to use other cruise ships initially, but the horses have to come here on cruise ship. Why? Because it's more stable. Ron, your family was into horse racing.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So tell us why we want to use a cruise ship for bringing the horses over instead of the mailboat.
Well, first of all, the cruise ships, they have an anti-rocking mechanism inside them, so that the horse don't lose their legs or gain sea leg, what they call sea legs. Also, the people who are owners of these horses, they can travel with the horse in their cabins, luxurious cabins, and also the trainers can travel also with the animals as well. And the bay or the inside of the ship, bottom of the ship, is perfect for housing the animals as they travel. So it's like traveling in style. Whereas a mailboat, no.
Yeah. All right. And so that's why, because the horse is also going to be kind of unstable when it gets there, and it's going to take a couple of weeks for them to get their legs back, per se, to get their legs back. And so you want to have them on a stable ship, and we're having it in Grand Bahama because Grand Bahama is just 50 miles from Florida, and so they're not in the water too long. So all of these stuff are stuff that we've been looking into, and so we're looking to bring this back to the Bahamas for Bahamians to benefit from, for industries to benefit from, and we're going to do this, and we believe that this is going to transform the Bahamas on an international level. All right, so there's a lot more to go in to as it relates to that, but we're gonna leave that. We've already planned everything from the balconies to the sky boots to every single aspect of this. We have planned and gone through. We're ready to go with this. On day one, we're ready to start the planning. All right, and we're going to put these plans up on our website so you can see them, because we have to summarize this now. But the money's made from horse racing, etc., of course, is going to go to our sovereign wealth fund, and of course, it's going to go to you, the Bahamian people. A percentage of it is going to go to the sovereign wealth fund, and it's going to go to the Bahamian people. All right, so horse racing is going to become life for those in Grand Bahama, and we believe that is going to transform. So we had to summarize all of this, but these are some of the things that we have planned. We had to summarize, but we talked about regatta. We're going to make regatta real sailing again, because right now some people don't even know they have boats at regatta. It's just a party. And so sorry we had to summarize this because, like I said, elections are on the way, and we can only give things in pieces now so you can get them. We'll put more of this on our website so you can understand exactly how this works, how it's going to be funded, and everything else. But I want to stop there. I want to thank both of these gentlemen who are so professional, so experienced in all of this. And thank you for your vision and taking the Bahamas to the next level. And so I'm going to open it up for questions right now. Guys, please remember to share. Please get on there and share this live. The people have to see the vision that is coming forward. They have to see that there's something more than yellow and red. There's some people who have planned out the new Bahamas, and they're ready to bring forth the new Bahamas. And so please share. So I'm going to open this up for questioning. It doesn't have to be on sports. It could be on anything. Some people have questions about any different parts of what we do and what we propose. If that's you, ask your questions now. This is your chance to get your questions answered. So we're going to go through these questions. So I'm going to go through these questions and see what's happening. Who says we need an Olympic volleyball team? What do you know about that?
Indeed. Any Olympic sport that can be done here in the Bahamas, which is all of them, except for maybe hockey, we're going to focus on. We forgot to mention University of Bahamas, turning the University of Bahamas into a sporting powerhouse that not just competes here in the Bahamas, but competes internationally. That's one of our goals that we're trying to achieve as well. It makes no sense where you have Florida relays, Texas relays, or international events, and the Bahamas is not represented in Bahamian colors. Now, some Bahamians do compete in those things, but they're not in Bahamian colors. They're wearing their American University colors, even though they're Bahamians. We want it to be a point where all athletes throughout the world are tracked. They're also promoted here in the Bahamas. We have many athletes like your Kamari Charltons and like your Munnings, where they go off and they compete in America. They do really good in university. They're the number one in this state, number one in that state, number one in the country. But the Bahamians don't even know, never heard of them, never seen them before, don't even know they're Bahamians. We want to put it together where we can track these athletes as they go off, follow them, their career, and report it back to the Bahamians. And also show them that they have the support of the Bahamian people.
Good. Someone asked, will cricket continue to be our national sport? No. I don't know why it was ever considered that. That will end immediately. All right? That cannot be our national sport. Let's get it out of our minds. Someone also said that they're copying our plans for other parties. Well, you spread the word. When you see that, you make sure everyone knows that. You embarrass them out of that. But of course, we want our plans to go there for the Bahamian people, so you know what it is. Tonight, I saw a Facebook post where someone said, finally a plan for COVID. They were talking about Brave. They said that he's saying free COVID test and no more travel visa. Brave watches my lives religiously. All right? And so wherever you see that post, you just go in there and you let them know this is the COI's plan. All right? And just let people know what they're doing. That's your responsibility. Let me see if I can find some more questions. Is the $100,000 still on the way? Yes, the $100,000 is still on the way. I just want to make this clear to you. We didn't say this $100,000 thing to win the election. Some people are saying that, oh, they promising this to win election. They're selling dreams. That is not what happened. We were an activist movement, and we were only interested in activism. We were not interested in politics. And as we did our research, we realized that the $100,000 thing was possible. And so we produced Vision 2025 to give to the politicians, to show them what can be done and exactly how to do it. That's what we did. It was the same as when we tabled the bill to give us, to end the Aragonite Act and to make us benefit from our natural resources. We gave it to the politicians. We wrote up the bill for them. We weren't like people saying that we're going to lobby. We wrote the bill for them and had it tabled in the House of Assembly. So that's what Vision 2025 was. And one line item in Vision 2025 was the benefit to benefit my natural resources, checks for $100,000 to each payment. That was one line item. There was so much other things in there. But of course, people grabbed onto that because you're talking about money. And that was from last year, I think November, when we brought that out as Bahamian Evolution. We didn't become a political organization until March, and so people started to talk about it, and so that's where it is. So people are saying that we're selling that dream to get votes. No, we're not. That wasn't to get votes. That was showing the Bahamian people what could happen, and yes, it is going to happen. We believe it. We've done the numbers. We've crunched the numbers. We know exactly where the money is coming from. We've shown you over and repeatedly exactly where the money is coming from, and so that's it. All right.
Also, on another note, on that same note, there's people going around telling everybody that, if you give everyone $100,000, oh, they're not going to work, they're going to quit, they're going to do this. Listen to me. Anyone doing something they love, $100,000 is not going to stop them. $100,000 is just going to allow the people to do what they love, to pursue what they love to do. I'll give an example. Didn't Michael Jordan play for over 15 years, making millions every year? Millions, not 100,000, millions every year. Yet, he played 52 games, so how much ever long that season is, and training and practice. Same thing with, I've known real estate agents. They made millions of dollars, but yet they still on the ground, in the bush, showing property. Same thing with football players. We mentioned Bo Jackson. Made millions of dollars, but yet every season he's on the field playing. $100,000 is not going to stop anyone from doing what they love or from working.
So basketball player makes $10 million in 1 year. They don't say, "Oh, I quit.
No.
That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to work anymore. No more basketball for me." There are some people who are going to be lazy. It happens in every society. The Arabs, they're very wealthy. There are a lot of people in Dubai, etc. They're wealthy. Foreigners come in to work for them. Some of them squander their money. That's what they do. They ball like Arabs, but all of them don't. And this is always my message to you. There are going to be some Bahamians for the first check, the second check, and they squander their money until they catch their sense and realize that, hold on, I need to be investing this money because 100,000 go like that. I want you to be prepared for that. I want you to get with your friends and family and pool your resources together like other races do. Pool your resources together with your friends, your family, and open businesses that you know others are going to squander their money on. And so if you believe that they're going to squander their money, don't say don't give anyone money because someone is going to squander their money. If I have a brother and our dad died and left us $1 million, I'm not going to say, well, don't give us any money because my brother's going to squander his. I don't understand that thinking. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't care if it's 10 of us and our dad left us $1 million. I'm not going to say, don't give us anything because my 9 brothers, they could just waste it. Come on, Bahamas, change your thinking. Relieve yourself from the slavery mentality. And so we've shown over and over exactly where the money's coming from, how this is going to be done. It's just time for the new Bahamas, all right? And so I'll say this again, because someone might be watching this for the first time. I'll give you an example, right? Because I can't go through the whole plan again. I always give this example of Grand Bahama. In the House of Assembly, they tabled and said that $5.4 billion was being made from one company, Bahama Rock. It's not being made. We're making much more than that. That's how much aragonite limestone that they were mining from Grand Bahama, the value of it, the low raw value. That's not what they made. They probably made hundreds of billions from it. But they got $5.4 billion worth of aragonite. Okay, but they paid zero for it. Zero for that aragonite. Man, that's a business. You can't make that kind of profit selling gold and diamonds. They spent zero. The only cost was the cost of mining. The trucks that they used to mine cost up to $7.5 million. The trucks that they put the limestone on. So you know this business is valuable. The ships, $75 to $100 million for the ships that carry our natural resources out. Wake up, Bahamas. All right, one crane. One crane. So, ladies and gentlemen, wake up. So, if they're taking $5.4 billion, and that's the raw cost, if you take off that 4, let's change. Take the 4, that 0.4. It's $5 billion. Imagine there's 50 million people in Grand Bahama. That's 100,000 for each of them.
50,000.
Sorry, no, it's 100,000 for each of them. 50,000 people, yes. That's $100,000 for 50,000 people. Wake up, Bahamas. We only believe that there's going to be about 150,000 to a little over that actual real Bahamian. So that means if you married a Bahamian and got naturalized, you're not an actual, real Bahamian. You are a Bahamian, but you're not a natural Bahamian that are going to be the first set to start getting their checks, right? So in Qatar and Dubai, I can't just come and marry a Qatari woman and then start getting the benefits from the Sovereign Wealth Fund. I can't just marry a woman from Qatar and start benefiting. No, she's going to keep getting that, and then I have to benefit from her. All right? That's how it works. So any American girl can't just come and marry Ron Rogers and then start getting $100,000 checks. Okay? So in terms of real Bahamians, we believe we're going to look at 150 to maybe 180,000 of them. And so that's the number we're looking at. So that means we only need about 150,000 people to get covered, and we already have 50,000 covered. We just need, there are 4 companies mining aragonite in Grand Bahama. Not one. There's so many natural resources, so they can't go through the night. But I need you to wake up, Bahamas. They want you to just go gold or go red. So you continue to get nothing. I'm going to continue with questions. All right, let me scroll. I'm scrolling. I am behind by 200 comments. Who says that 100K can only pay off your mortgage? That can't pay off most people's mortgage. All right. Trying to scroll through these questions, they keep coming. I can't even keep up. I don't want anyone to think we duck any of their questions. Someone says 12 million for operating expenses per year and making 5.4 billion a year. Do the maths. That's some serious numbers. 12 million in operating expenses. But they don't make 5.4 billion. They make much more than that. That's just the value of the raw aragonite that they take. They make much more than 5.4 billion.
Let's go. Bring on the questions. Make them hard.
They hear. I just behind. I'm scrolling. Skipping over them, just regular comments. Let's move away from. Okay.
Someone asked, will there be an investment in cycling so we can compete on the world stage in the Olympics?
An investment in what?
Cycling.
Okay. We're going to invest in sports across the board, but there's certain sports that we're going to focus on first. One, because you have to focus starting out. One is all water sports, because we believe that we should dominate any water sport, because we're a water nation, all right? And of course, sports where we have some examples of persons, because we believe that whenever you have someone that has accomplished something and examples that people can see, it inspires and motivates other persons. So track and field, we have examples in there. Basketball, we have examples in basketball. Boxing, we have examples of boxing. We have a young man from Pinewood Gardens, all right, Reno Johnson. He was a champion. What is his weight class? Middleweight champion, all right? And so he's a champion. So we have examples there. And so we have examples in track and field. And so that's why we want to focus on that. And so tennis, we have examples in tennis with Mark, what's his name?
Mark Knowles.
Yeah, Mark Knowles. And so these are the kind of areas we want to focus on, because we have examples that we can show our children that this is possible. All right? And not that we're only going to do those things, but they're going to be the focus initially. All right? Now, I got about almost 300 comments that I have to skip over just to get to the bottom. So if I didn't read your question, you can put it in again. We just got a few more minutes. This country is running on autopilot now. Nope. This country is headed for a crash. All right? This country is headed for a crash. I only saw the first part of it, but it's the country is running on autopilot. I didn't see the rest. Oh, here it is. The only difference is ministers already took all the money and Brave is waiting to go borrow more. But the country runs well without the PLP and FNM. Listen, the country is going to run out of money. It's going to run out of money on October 1st. The country will run out of money. They have a few days of money after election. I told you that this was coming. I spoke about this on my lives. I told you that this was coming. And that this is why he would have to call an election. He's running out of money. He's been choked out. Local banks will not lend him money. And foreign banks will not lend him money. And they have no vision to take this country forward. All right? These old men, Brave Davis and Chester Cooper, yes, old, have no vision to take this country forward. None. And so We need a change. We need visionary leadership that's going to take us there. And that's what we're offering. That's what we're doing. Okay? America doesn't want Minnis or Davis. And if you choose to vote for them, you are going to suffer as a people. America has complained about the Christy Davis administration and the Minnis Turnquest administration. Called them corrupt. This time they've named names. And so, Minnis is not trusted because of the loan situation where he borrowed but would not give proper accounting. And before he account, he preferred to call election and break off running. That's what he chose to do. We need a government with vision to take over. I'm going to tell you again what's going to happen if Hubert Alexander Minnis or Philip Brave Davis takes over. One, immediately your VAT is going up. Don't mind their stories with VAT going down 2%. Immediately, if they can't show a vision on what they're going to do, to the IMF immediately, to the World Bank immediately, VAT is going to have to go up to 15% initially, and then shortly thereafter, 20%. Don't listen to me. What I want you to do is, if you happen to choose to go with either of those options, I want you to screen record this and play this back to yourself. VAT will go up to 15% first, and then to 20%, where it will stay. Because they can't take it higher than the 20%, they are going to put income taxes on the Bahamian people. The research is already started. Income tax. Can you imagine you're paying taxes every time you go to a store and spend money? And then out of your little 210, that they say they will increase to 250 or something like that. All right? Of that little 2 something, they're going to take income taxes out of that? How much income taxes? It's going to be like the States? Imagine them taking, 30% income taxes out of your money. So you make $200 a month. That's $60 coming out of your pay if it's 30%. So that leaves you with $140. We need you to wake up, Bahamas. America doesn't want Minnis because he's proven to be corrupt. But they don't want Philip Brave Davis. You have a choice. Let's continue to take a couple more questions. Do you have any plans to increase the minimum wage? I don't know if she's talking about us or the other parties. Yeah, the minimum wage is going to increase, but please take your mind off the minimum wage. We are showing you every way that Bahamians are going to benefit from the economy through the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And notice, we haven't had any live yet where we're just saying that we could take money from the sun, Aragonite, etc., and just put in the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and that's how you're going to make the money. We're showing you real vision. Dubai, they discovered oil, but only 5% of their GDP is oil. It's all the other industries that they go into that their people benefit from, that money is made. That is what we are building, Bahamas. We're not building an economy and telling you that we're going to sell sand and make money from selling sand. That's what the old guys think because they don't have vision. That's what they're selling. That's what the PLPs are telling people. Oh, they're selling dreams. No, we're showing you how this can really work. Singapore has no natural resources, but it's these kinds of initiatives that they make money from as a country, much more than us. Small nation, island nation, no natural resources, but they have leaders with vision. The choice is yours. You see if any more questions here, and then we got to wrap up.
Valentina Faros asked,
Thank
are
you.
those facilities only for the athletes, or can the public use it as well?
No, they're for the general public. There will be training facilities for athletes, but the 5 YMCA type centers are community centers. where all people will have access to them. All right, just like the YMCA in the States, there'll be indoor swimming pools, there'll be gyms that you have access to, indoor basketball courts, all of this stuff. We're definitely building one here in Pinewood Gardens. And we have already located this place that we're going to build it. The government already owns that spot in the back of Pinewood Gardens, where we're going to put one of them. And so we're putting one in the 5 districts of Nassau. Next question. What do you see, Kara?
I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. Daddy Hotz, I hope I pronounced it correctly. Vez asked, can our university compete with universities in the U.S. and/or the region for experience?
The last part of the question again?
Can our university compete with the universities in the U.S. and/or the region for experience?
Yes, of course. I mean, we have athletes now. In fact, some of the top athletes in universities are Bahamians currently. You guys just saw the NBA draft. You said another Bahamian athlete drafted out of university. It's just that the Bahamas is not hearing about them because they had to go through the struggles in order to get there on their own. But we have right now we currently have athletes, top athletes in the major universities in America that are number 1 in their sporting discipline. Our goal is to be homegrown athletes here in the Bahamas, which means that College of Bahamas or University of Bahamas, has to be revamped in order to accommodate these athletes, in order to groom them, in order to grow them. That way, instead of them competing for UM or Florida State or any of these other universities, they'll be representing the University of the Bahamas at major events in the States and around the world. So yes, if they're in the University of Bahamas, University of Bahamas will be able to compete against any international school, any NCAA school or Division I school in America.
All right, next question, please.
Will Frost asked, what's the time frame on a commission of inquiry?
Our commission of inquiries are going to start in week 1. They're going to start right away, immediately. There's going to be proper investigations. Someone said to me, Lincoln, there's a lot of people mixed up in this corruption, so they might be concerned because you keep saying that you're going to lock them up. I don't keep saying that, but we have been presenting our plans over several months. And every time we reach a certain area of our plans, I talk about things that's concerning it. And so the last time we had a live, I was talking to the new Attorney General and the new Minister of National Security. All right. And so, of course, we're going to talk about certain things. And remember, I brought documentation and put them on the desk. And all of those documents would just be up. And so it's not just about, talking about, we're going to send them to jail and this and that. We're going to do proper, reasonable investigations. And based on the results of those investigations, we have to take action, man. The humans have been robbed and wronged for too long. We have to take action. And so this week, I'm talking about sports. All right. Well, today, I'm talking about sports. We're going to be talking about agriculture this week. All right. We're going to be talking about other things this week. And so we're going to show you the plans that we have for agriculture. We're going to have the discussion about marijuana. I think it's time to have that discussion. We're going to show you that we don't just talk about this. We actually went, to marijuana farms in order to do this. We started to move in that direction already. We're ready to go from day one, all right? And so will that mean that, we're going to do things irresponsibly, et cetera? No, we're looking at importing. We're looking at big business. We're not talking about marijuana for a young fella to smoke marijuana, We're talking about how we can make money with these things as a natural resource, as medicine to help people, et cetera. And so we're going to have that discussion this week. And so you're going to see our qualified people, all right? So any other questions?
Yes, Ebony Maxwell and Tania are asking if you can address the student nurses issue.
You said student nurses, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, student nurses, several of them have been waiting for quite some time, and they've not been able. I've been talking to some student nurses recently. They've not been able to finish. I think they have one more practical, many of them, and they can't do it because there's COVID at the hospital, but they're nurses. And so the practical is actually nursing at the hospital. And why they're not allowed to do it is shocking to me. I don't understand it. Maybe it's because the government ran out of money and doesn't have the money to pay these nurses. But then they're asking for nurses, retired nurses, to come back and for people to help now. But they have, and I'm almost sure that it's about 200 nurses ready to come to the hospital and work. But they can't finish graduate as a student nurse because they need to finish, many of them, one more practical in order to get to that step to do that. How could this happen in the 21st century? Like, these kinds of things happen, they don't even make the news. I mean, that's big news. 200 nurses I'm hearing ready to come to the hospital and work while they have a shortage, while COVID is going on. This must be dealt with. To all of my student nurses who are waiting, who have been suffering, who need to make their money after being in school for all these years, they need to help their families. I just want to say to you that there's 3 more weeks to the New Bahamas. We are going to rapidly move quickly. That was a double. But we're going to rapidly move to having you guys do everything you need to become full-blown nurses. We lost 40 nurses last month. 40 from Princess Margaret Hospital alone, yes, we know of. 40 nurses. Yet the government is stalling these new nurses from being able to do what they're supposed to do. This is not going to happen in this country. Nurses, do the right thing. 3 more weeks. All of you. Vote for change. Nurses who are already there, working in those horrible conditions, not being paid, not being treated right, vote for change. Vote for change. All of you. Do something different. All of you hospital workers who didn't get your money while Renwood, Wells, Driver, and other persons got their money, vote for change. How could Renwood, Wells, Driver get money as a frontline worker in COVID? Renwood, Wells, you have some questions to answer. We'll leave it as that. All right? And so we're going to deal with the nurses. Next question.
Okay, so we have 2 questions that are related, so I'll ask both at the same time. Deshaun Fowler asked, I might have or stated he may have missed it, but what are our plans for the basketball players? Will we be having a facility like that for training and tournaments? And the second question is, can we get some professional Bahamian athletes to endorse the sports plan?
Yes, of course. The facilities, like we said, we didn't go into great detail, but the facilities will include basketball as well. Also, the grounds. We're building facilities that they're focusing on the athletes' safety and health first. In other words, most basketball courts here in the Bahamas are made of asphalt. We're doing the indoor wooden basketball courts inside the YMCAs. All right. Now, when it comes to getting professional athletes to endorse our plan, I'm a professional athlete. Steph one is professional athletes. Of course, we have meetings with other athletes coming up, other professional athletes coming up. We're going to present this. Nothing is written in stone right now. So when we do sit down with other professional athletes, they can go over it. They can see, well, they can put their input in it. If something needs to change or added, that can be done as well. But like I said, we already have professional athletes that endorse this plan already, and we will have more in the future.
Someone asked, will there be more indoor basketball courts? Yes.
Yes.
when I went to college in Florida, there was a lot of indoor basketball courts around. And, in rainy season, in summer, it's rainy season in Bahamas. And so you can't really practice or train. So we're going to have that. So that's good. Go ahead, Carl.
Nisha King asked, we are currently still in a pandemic. Would you continue with the same protocols as Dr. Minnis? I know you addressed this in the COVID plans, but can you touch on this?
Will you continue the same protocols as Dr. Minnis? No. We have released, if you go to our website, Nisha, thank you, great question. You will see that we release our plans for COVID. That's an actual real solution to this thing, not just repeating and doing whatever some foreign country tells you to do. We have looked at models in other countries where they have tackled COVID and did a very good job of it. Our government seems to be looking at countries that failed and using them as excuses, saying, well, other countries failed, other countries didn't get it right, so okay, I guess we're okay. Even though we are second to last in terms of our COVID response, second to last in the world in terms of our COVID response. And so while Minnis is patting himself on the back, the world community is saying that Bahamas, you're second to last. And so we've looked at countries like South Korea, like New Zealand, and other countries that actually did a good job of this, in certain parts of China that did a good job of this. And so we've done the research and saw the changes we need to make. If you go to our website, you can see the full thing right there, how we're going to do it, how we're going to make sure that you don't have to be locked down at all times. I have already, the Commissioner of Police had a meeting with the leaders of the FNM, PLP, COI, and DNA. And so in front of them, Minnis didn't come. He sent Bannister, the Deputy Prime Minister. I told the Commissioner of Police in front of all of them, and I'm saying this public right now, that on that election day, once he hears it's a blackout, that immediately the curfew ends. There is no scientific rationale or reason for that curfew, none whatsoever. And so it doesn't make sense. You can catch COVID in the day or in the night. All right, you can close down certain things like nightclubs, etc., without locking us down. So that if Grammy needs her medication in the middle of the night, she should be able to go or call her son and say, "Listen, I left my medication by you," or look in the drawer and bring that for me, and he doesn't get arrested. Someone needs to go to the water pump in the middle of the night because they need to wash something. There's no reason to lock them down in the middle of the night when they can go in the day and catch COVID doing the same thing. It doesn't make sense. And so definitely the travel visa was a scam. It was a money-making scam. So we're not going to entertain that at all. Persons who got that contract were known for donating money to the FNM, and FNMs were involved in it. All right. And so it was a money-making scam. They have some questions to answer as it relates to the scam. All right. And so there will be no more travel visa. We showed the system that we're going to use in order to make sure that you don't need a travel visa to travel. But when you get your test, it goes to the border, the negative or positive test, and they can see whether once you come and you give your ID, etc., they know whether you're positive or not. All right. And so we're going to change this. There's a system that all of them would have access to. It's going to change the game. Okay. And we're going to make it make sense. So I didn't say all of the plans because we already took a lot of effort to put it right there on our website, coalitionofindependence.com. Click on the vision or look at the drop down and you can look for a COVID-19 response. Thank you. Next question.
I saw it earlier. I can't seem to find it right now, but Debo asked if we have an economic team.
Say again?
I can't seem to find it right now, but Debo asked.
Oh, they asked if we have an economic team? Okay, yes. Thank you. Yes, we do. We have an economic team. We have been for months working on our economic plan. And as you can see, we're releasing this in stages. We're showing you what we're doing with each area and how we're going to turn those into money-making areas, just like Dubai and Singapore and other countries did for our country, not just tourism and foreign companies coming in and making money. And so we're showing you how each of these areas are going to make money. And then at the end, we're going to drop the financial plans to show you how all of this is going to come together. So what we're doing as it relates to our energy reform and how the Bahamas is going to start making money by selling the power of the sun to neighboring countries. We're showing you how we're doing this with all of the different areas of reforms. And so this is where the true vision is. And so this is how we're going to make it work. And so those persons, we have qualified persons in finance, more than qualified to be the Minister of Finance with years of experience in this area, accounting, degrees, et cetera, et cetera. We have experienced person in that area, experienced bankers. We have an experienced banker who worked at 2 banks. And so we have persons on our team with the ability to make all of this happen. All right. So they're going to do a much better job than Peter Turnquest did. Next question.
When Rick Brown asked, what are your plans for the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center?
Well, we're going to release our health plan soon. I don't want to preempt it, but we are going to take mental health seriously in this country. All right, mental health we treat it as taboo, like we shouldn't. It's a sickness. It's like catching the cold or the flu, although it's more serious than that. It's like catching cancer. It's a sickness, and people need help, and it can be treated. And so we're going to take that seriously. We're going to encourage people. That's why we're building what we talked about, our wellness center, our wellness city, our health city, where persons have got their stress levels, everything else is going to be monitored. We talked about it in one of our recent lives. So if our PR team can screen record that and send that out. We talked about our health center, where you're going to be able to go once your assigned health advisor, wellness advisor sees that you're under a lot of stress because the app is going to be able to monitor your stress levels. Then they're going to send you to the spa, and it's free for Bahamians. They're going to send you to the spa where you can go in the whirlpool, chill out, get massages, etc. Do different therapies, sauna, therapies, and so many different things that you can do. Because we believe that if we keep you healthy, it's going to cost the Bahamas less. And so we've released this already in one of our previous lives. So PR team, if y'all can grab that and put that on our on our website, the video on our website with some explanations. We really appreciate that for persons who are seeing this for the first time and don't see the vision that we have for health in this country. Next question.
Shirley Ferguson asked, Mr. Bain, are you looking into a facility for working mothers to leave their babies while they work and, of course, at their...
Yes, this was a vision that we've had for a very long time. We're looking at different areas. And so, for example, the prison, we're building a new prison. We've already met with some prison officers. We're building a new prison. And so as a part of building a new prison, we're actually building nurseries for them. And so government areas where you have to work at night, certain police officers, hotel workers, etc., they should have nurseries available for these kinds of people who are working in these areas. Because a lot of people are single mothers, they don't have anyone to keep their child that they can trust. All right? And so we plan on fixing this. There's a lot of things we want to do for single mothers. I have a single mother. All right? And there's a lot of programs we want to do for single mothers. We were going to make sure we have a place of refuge for single mothers who are going through distress, who may be being abused, who may be being neglected. There are women who stay in situations that they shouldn't because they don't have any money, they don't have anywhere to go, no family to go to, and they can't keep their children on the street, so they put up with whatever. And we've seen people, evil people, take advantage of this. We've seen young girls get molested because the mother just don't have nowhere to go, so she just listen, shut up and take it. We'll be out of this soon. That will not happen in the New Bahamas. That will not happen. This is a warning to child molesters. And I'm sorry, the legal age for sex is going to match America's, England's, etc. it is going to be 18. You are not going to have sex with a 16-year-old girl. It is not going to happen. And so we have to fix that. How can you be able to have sex and bring a child into this world, but you can't even sign a contract? You can't sign any agreement, but you can agree to bring a child into this world. I don't know who the sick, perverted politician was who made that law, but that is about to end in the new Bahamas. These children that go missing and you see them on wanted posters and then they just send them back home and say, okay, the girl is safe. No, I want to know who they were with for the last 3 days. Whoever they were with is going to jail. It's in law already. It's called abduction. But they always leave it alone. And say, oh, girl, she wanted that. She was a no good. No. She can't want anything. They will go to jail. I'm telling you. So if you want to be a pervert and molest little girls, or harbor them and keep them, don't vote for me. Right? The COI ain't for you. But if you have a daughter and you understand that sometimes they can make irrational decisions as a young teenager, but no big grown man should be able to take advantage of that. If you understand that, then you vote for me, because no other party is going to change this, and no other party is going to enforce this. Keep your hands off these little girls. And so, yes, we have a lot of things in place to protect mothers. We're looking at building a refuge center where you can come and live. I want to tell you something. I had a son who was it was a really accident. He had a serious situation in the States, and he was in hospital. He was in hospital, I think, for 10 days. And so I was over there, and I didn't have a place to stay. I was, staying in the hotel, and one of the nurses was like, the first 10 days I was in the hospital in the room with him because he was in intensive care. And after that, he had to go to another hospital. And at that hospital, only the mother or the father could stay, one person. And so it was like I had to go in the hotel, but the hotel was extremely, expensive. And I mean, I didn't mind. I had the money to deal with it. But one of the nurses said, why are you paying for a hotel? You can just stay in the Ronald McDonald Club. I was like, Ronald McDonald? Not clubhouse. The Ronald McDonald House. I was like, what is that? She said, no, that's for persons who are, their children are sick, they're overseas, they don't have any friend or family around, and they're visiting. There's something called the Ronald McDonald House that you can literally stay in, and it's a nice, almost like an apartment complex, etc., like a hotel, but free. A free hotel. You don't have to do anything. Your food is free, 3 meals a day. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to wash. You don't do anything, because they believe that you're going through so much stress during this time that a football player started this, because he went through something like that, and he started it. So when you go to the States and you see on the counter this thing called the Ronald McDonald House, and you can put some coins in there, that is real. I experienced that. All right, that is real. And so likewise, we're going to have hotel-like situations where single mothers, we're starting to look at the Corner Motel. To start out, that's not going to be how it's going to be. It's going to be like a gated oasis that no one can get in there. They can't get to you. All right, the yard area is going to be so serene with waters, and I mean, you'll see. We won't talk it yet. All right, but it's going to be like an oasis for you and your kids to come and stay, even though you're going through and you're on your own. Come on, Bahamas, man. We need change, man. We need politicians who are going to sit down and think about how they can improve your lives all day, every day. Not think about how they could find a foreign investor to get some money out of. Come on, Bahamas, man. You all talk to your friends, talk to your families. Don't be shy. Talk to everyone. If you're in the bus, start talking about COI. If you're at work, start talking about COI. Brave Davis paid to have a new party formed. And they call themselves the United Coalition to cause confusion. If I start a new business or new party, I don't want my thing to sound like yours. I want to differentiate. I want to start out. I don't want them to mix me up with you. So obviously the purpose of them starting this new thing was to cause confusion. But we got something for them. Stay tuned. But Bahamas, make sure your family and friends don't get confused with the tricks of Brave Davis and Shane Gibson. Make sure they don't get confused paying off these parties to, what you got to pay these fellas to drop everything they've been doing to just do a copy of the coalition without the vision, without the groundwork, without the history, without the track record. We just need to call this coalition. All right, and so that's it. All right, next question. We're going to talk about our vision. Talk about vision. Any questions? You see what we're doing.
Are we going to let our students play football? I know you answered this earlier, but he came late.
No, we didn't answer it earlier.
Yeah. Are we going to let our students?
Yeah, play football.
Oh, yes. Football is one of the one of the top tier sports in the world. American football, that is. Don't confuse it with soccer now. American football.
There's issues of, I'm saying this because it came up in our meeting as we were doing the research. Kids getting hurt and insurance, that kind of stuff.
Yes, same thing in America. In fact, the organization brought it up about the helmets. They changed the design of the helmets. They also changed the rules on how to tackle. They initiated training sessions inside athletic programs, university athletic programs, and did impact testing to see how they can make the game safer. Back in my day, it was hard-nosed, run-of-the-mill, hit as hard as you could type football. And yes, you can get injuries from that, and you do get injuries from that. But in this day and age, they changed things totally around. There's certain areas, certain ways that you cannot tackle a person anymore. Whether it be sparing, that's with the head-on collisions, or whether it be going after the lower extremities. There's certain rules put in place on how to protect the quarterback as far as tackling. The gear has changed. Like I said, the helmets now have a different type of padding inside, and also they have a alert system that, depending on the force of the impact, they can tell if a player has a concussion, and they can take him out of the game to recover instead of him continually playing and worsening that concussion. All right, and the insurance companies are on board with this because they see the step in the athletic program to try and make it safer for the athletes themselves.
Okay. Awesome question, guy. Awesome question. All right. Any more questions?
What are your plans to protect this election from being stolen?
Listen, this is a God move. I can't say publicly what our plans are. We're going to be all over this. Just like I stopped them from stealing the last election, but we're going to be all over this. I can't say what our plans are because then Minister is going to prepare for this. I can guarantee you, PLPs and FNMs watch all of our lives. You can see the trolls going crazy about our lives and screenshotting afterwards. You know, they watch our lives. You've heard Fred Mitchell and these other people commenting on our lives. Listen, we're going to be all over them, but we need you to be responsible. We need you to volunteer. Volunteer to work the polls with us. Volunteer to be a part of the team to make this happen. All of us can say that we want to do Bahamas. We got to work for this. Volunteer. Come to our office or call us to make sure that you are part of the team. Let's work the polls. Let's watch them. We're going to put an army of people out there to make sure that no stealing takes place. All right. I think that's it. I don't know if we can take any more. It's getting late. So we just did what we are going to do every night, just break this curfew because it's over. All right, this curfew is a thing of the past. And so we want to thank all of you for tuning in. Listen, what you heard tonight is called vision. It's called vision. This is what our country needs. We need a new type we need new types of leaders in this country. People who know what's going on. You can hear that these guys, Stephen Hall, Ron Rogers, they know sports. They know this to a T. They can talk to any angle of this. We need change. Most of all, we need you. We need you to assist by spreading the message. There's still people who have not heard about the COIF. You have to spread the message. We can't get to every house. I'm in Pinewood, I'm walking every day. I'm just going to be realistic. They call a snap election. There is no way. I have 52 streets in Pinewood Gardens. 52 streets. If I do one a day, it would take me 52 days to get that done. That's almost 2 months. If I do 2 a day, it would take me a month. It's very difficult because when you go, people, you have to talk. If you go out for 3, even 4 hours, you may do 1 or 2 streets because people want to talk. They have their concerns. You can't just leave them standing there. There's no way I'm going to get to every house in Pinewood. I'm trying. I'm going in every area. I've covered every area, but not every corner. We still have South Street and I think Avocado or Spice to cover in that's the Old Pinewood. We've covered the other area. We've covered most of Pinewood. We still have a few streets to cover, especially the areas in the back by the school. And so we're going to get to as many people as we can. But if I can't, just remember that we are fighting for the New Bahamas. And I'm here every day. I'm going to be here every day. So tune in every day at 8 o'clock. We're going to be here. We're going to be talking to more of our candidates, introducing you to them. You said you didn't know them. Here they are. Isn't this young man, and isn't that young man in Freeport the perfect person to deal with sports? He does this as a business. He isn't just someone who's an athlete. He's an accomplished businessman with the gym. People from around the world come and visit to come to his gym and have him train them. He does it as a business. And so these are the kinds of people that we want in the House of Assembly, not lawyers or these kind of guys who just get the position. It's time for change. Someone says, question, you keep the names of persons you visit? Yes, we do. Not every time, but we do. We have an entire digital, we have our entire, I was actually on the phone we're using for this, but I have my entire Pinewood register. And what I do is I mark them in the register based on when I talk to them, et cetera, et cetera. I can't put it up. I was going to let you see it, but I know every single house. I know every person that belongs in Pinewood Garden. I know everyone who is there, and so this is how we're trying to protect what is happening. But we know everyone, and we know where they live. Trying to see if I can pull this up quickly before we go. And so we have a listing. I can just go on my phone. Yeah, I can just go on my phone and do a quick search, and I can find anyone in Pinewood. All right, anyone, any name, I can find them, their address, everything about them. I can find right there. Everyone in Pinewood. I could get their voters card number, everything about them. I have digitally, so you can't really see it here, but yeah, I have all of the information. All right, every single one. All right, someone says, Lincoln, you run out of documents? Say, oh no, buddy. I don't run out of documents. But we got to focus now on letting you see our vision, letting you see the new Bahamas. All right, we have been dropping documents every single week since last year. We've been dropping documents every week since last year. This amount of knowledge has never changed hand. Information has never changed hand in the history of this country. We've dropped information on everything to do with governance in this country. Even the ships that have sunken and have been dug up, and the ships that the people have got licensed to dig up our treasure in our ocean. Listen, there's so much money for Bahamians to benefit from. Our treasures, that's not a natural resource. That's our treasures in our water, sunken ships in our waters. Each ship is worth billions of dollars. Each ship. Documented. I show you the proof of it. You can go Google. Do your own research. Don't ever just listen to me. I want you, when you hear me say something, go do your research and then come back on the next live and tell me if I lie. Say, Lincoln, I did my research and this thing right here isn't true. Because not one politician, not one person has been able to do that yet. Because every time we speak truth. All right? And so I think that's it for tonight. We want to thank you. That's our a summary of what we want to do with sports. We couldn't go deep into it. From you, Stefano, any final words to the people of your constituency? Let's talk to them.
Yes, good night. I've been in the ground in West Grand and Bimini. I just came from on Sunday, and the experience was amazing. I mean, the people down there in Bimini are so ready. Our team has grown tremendously since I got back. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to assist. They all want to be a part of this change. And when I approached the Biminites, I was expecting a little bit hostility, knowing that Bimini doesn't really know COI, or at least I thought they didn't. When I went down there, to my surprise, I mean, the most influential people in Bimini, we sat down, we had meetings with the most prominent people in Bimini. We sat down, we had meetings with Bimini. Really wants this change. West Grand Bahama really needs this change. I'm appealing to you guys. Vote for COI, vote for this change. Nationally, I want to talk to the athletes. I have hundreds of athletic friends that text me daily about the issues that athletes face. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have put myself in this position if we didn't have to. You know, the struggles that athletes go through daily. This is time for the change. We're putting good ideas. This is just a superficial aspect of our program. We're putting good ideas in this so that athletes can benefit after and while during the sports of their choice. Vote for change. This is vision. This is time for us to take this, man. We have to do this. We have one chance at this. We're not going to get another chance. Vote for change. Vote for COI. Vote for it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
like we said earlier, we need your support, all our supporters. You know, we poll workers. If you want to volunteer to be poll workers, you can contact me at 804-3676. All right, time is short, people. Time is short. Let's get this done. Change is here.
And so remember that on the ballot, there's going to be no names. So no words are going to be on the ballot. So you won't see FNMPLP COI. You're only going to see the logo and the name of the candidate. So remember, the logo is going to be in black on the ballot. So even the torch is going to be in black. Even the hand of the PLP is going to be in black. All of them are going to be in black. So look for the logo. All right, look for the logo and the name. That's it. All right, teach your family and friends this logo is going to be in the black. And so let's do this. Let's spread the logo all over social media. Change your Facebook picture into the logo. You can just go to our page and get it. Change your Facebook picture into the logo. I'm going to change mine tonight. Just realized it still has Bahamian Evolution on it. But I want to say this to you. September 16th is a critical day. It's a crucial day. It's a symbolic day. It's a significant day. September 16th, the day of election, is the day that we founded Bahamian Evolution. And so, isn't it ironic that minutes calls the election on that day? Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a poll worker, etc., please contact us, inbox Ebony, or you can come to the head office. You can always contact one of us or your candidate. Please do. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the change is not coming. Change is here.
Change is here.
Right? So, thank you for tuning in. We love you. God bless you. See you tomorrow.